Hello everyone. Fundamentals of total quality management. The basic of total quality management is what we will be getting introduced in today's presentation. Competing on quality, high performance design, it is all about superior features we are talking about. We are talking about durability, higher durability. We are talking about excellent customer service. Now these are the parameters of high performance design. It can be of quality in terms of consistency, be it of product or services, meeting design specification, close tolerance, and error-free delivery is what we are espousing for. So, five ways to define qualities, and that is, let us understand what are those five ways altogether. First and the foremost thing, whatever you say, whatever is expected, exactly the product or the service in displaying the identical characteristic. That is what confirmation to specification is all about. It does your product, does your service meet targets? Tolerance defined by the designer. Fitness for use is evaluating the performance of intended use. If it meets the desired target, and tolerance, definitely it should be coming up and displaying equivalence in performance there too. Values for price paid. Now, what are the values for price paid? Is the value that you of the money that you pay for, and in return, what kind of product or services are you enjoying? So, evaluation of usefulness vis-a-vis your price that is being charged. Support service is quality of support, after sales services, as the case might be, and the psychological things, which is all about brand names, which is all about ambience, prestige. It is all about the behaviors the people are conducting within the business segment of the organization. So these are the five things that needs to be kept in mind. Let us understand about production and service industry. How difference are there in terms of quality? So manufacturing quality versus service quality. Manufacturing quality focuses on tangible products. That is all about confirmations, performance, reliability, features, durability, and serviceability is what we are looking about it. Something which can be felt, seen, experienced all together. It's all about confirming to what has been stated, performing, reliability, which might not be the case in service organization. Why? Because services can be only be experienced, they cannot be touched, they cannot be felt, they cannot be seen. There are no physical manifestation of services. So quality often is defined by perception factors like responsiveness, courtesy, friendliness, promptness, waiting time, and consistency thereby. So yes, the cost of quality, we are talking about prevention cost, cost of preparing and implementing a quality plan, appraisal cost, cost of testing, evaluating and inspecting the quality thereby, internal failure cost, cost of scrap, rework and material losses as the case might be. External failures are cost of failures at customer side, including returns, including repairs, including recall. So we have the four kinds of cost of quality: the prevention cost, the appraisal cost, the internal failure cost, and the external failure cost. External failures cost are where you have actually made a sale and then it comes back. Internal failure cost, it is not coming up to the mark as far the quality is concerned, and there are many wastages. So yes, these are the costs which we need to remove, and that can only be done through early detection. Prevention may be a less by a factor of 10 altogether. So what is total quality management? Meeting quality expectation as defined by the customers? Definitely yes, as what our customers is going to value for the money he or she is paying for. Integrated organizational efforts to design to improve the quality of the processes at each business level. We need to understand there has to be quite an improvement from the previous experiences that a company is providing. So let us understand how it has evolved over a period of time. Early 90s, it was all about inspection with respect to the product before it was released onto the market, launched into the market. But in 40s, it was mass production. It was the industrial revolution comes around it. And herein we started with something. We cannot inspect each individual product. We started sampling around it. 1960s is where the organization quality focus came into the perspective. We were more interested in the process by this time. We said it is impossible to go for statistical sampling altogether. Definitely sampling continued. But if we can streamline the process, in all probability, the product or the service that will be the outcome will be error free. 1980s and beyond, it went beyond the organization walls. It was customer driven quality, and the new concept of quality, building quality into the process, identifying the correct cause and quality problems thereby, and that is what we are looking forward to. So the philosophy of total quality management, what is the difference? First and foremost thing, the shift has happened onto the customer. Focus is on the customers, identifying and meeting customer needs. Staying tuned to the changing needs, example, the fashion style as the case might be. Continuous improvement, continuous learning, problem solving. Example, Kaizen or Six Sigma, incremental improvement every now and then in every department, in every processes that we are looking for it. So yes, focus on customers, continuous improvement, and quality at the very beginning, at the very source, prevention and problem solving vis-a-vis inspection. You are utilizing quality raw material as a resource. So outcome will have to be a definitely a good quality product. And last but not the least is going for a flattening of the organization where each employee is empowered. They can make their decisions for the benefit of the company and themselves. Empowering all employees, be it external, be it internal. Let them have the sense of feeling on ownership of the company. And external employees would be your customers or external customer. The customer would always come, uh, will be asked to provide feedback. They can contribute to whatever ways that they think that the value for money concept is been working upon it. So philosophy, what's different? Let us understand. We continue with understanding the quality tools, ongoing training on analysis, assessment and correction, implementation tools, as the case might be. This is what we are looking for. Team approach, team from around the processes are exactly 8 to 10 or quality circles as they are been usually known as. They meet weekly to analyze and solve the problem thereby. Benchmarking, studying practices are best in the class, in the company as the case might be. We are talking about managing supplier qualities, certifying suppliers versus receiving inspection per se. Now, this is what we are looking forward, understanding the quality tools, team approach, benchmarking, managing supplier quality thereby. So, ways to improve quality. The ways are very simple. It is PDSA, is plan, do, study, act, cycle. Remember, we can also have the philosophy of PDCA of plan, do, check, act. The Deming wheel says about the originators, circular, never-ending process. Now, if we have improved our quality, can we further improve it? Is what the question remains. So it's a never-ending process. 7 tools of quality controls, and what are the tools typically taught to problem-solving teams, as the case may be. PDSA, plan, uh, plan, do, study, and act details. How do we go around it? Let us plan for the processes. Let us plan for the procedures, data, identify problems. Can we anticipate them? Develop an improvement plan, performance objective, as the case might be, as what we are expecting to do around it. Then comes of doing is implementing, executing the plan, first on a pilot basis. It's a pilot study that we come across it before the full plan has been launched altogether. Studies collecting of the data and evaluating against objectives. This is pertinent. And act is communicating the results from the trial part, the pilot survey that you already do around it, the pilot study that you already go ahead and execute it. If successful, launch that process, implement that steps, implement that improvement program, across the organization, and that is what PDSA details are all about. It is a never ending circle that goes on and on and on. It's a plan, do, study, and act. The cycle gets repeated. So even if you have made an incremental improvement, can we start again planning for a further improvement in one of the processes? So 7 problem solving tools. What are the cause and effect diagrams? There is something called flowchart. Now, cause and effect is for every outcome, there has to be certain reasons behind it, and that is what we're trying to go around. Flowchart is the processes, the steps that can be pictographically represented. Probably this helps us in pinpointing who is responsible for what kind of qualities and what kind of steps. The checklist, the check balances, you need to go around it. The control charts, the scattered diagram will actually let you know what is happening around, right? The Pareto's analysis is very simple, very straight, wherein it says 80% of the problem lies with the 20% of improvement. If you do that 20% of improvement, 80% of the problem will be done away with. Similarly, it's an 80-20 ratio that the world has been divided as for Pareto's, and this brings to the last solving tools of histogram, which is basically a representation, or should I say graphical manifestation of the processes thereby. Here comes the cause and effect diagram, the fishbone diagram that we are talking about it. Yes, yeah, you call the fishbone diagram, focuses on identifying the quality problem. Look at here where the problems are all about it. These are the 6 things where the problems can come around here because of the temperature, or probably because of the environment, because of the processes, the steps that we are going around it. The raw material can be faulty, the machine be not been calibrated to the right extent, and thus coming up with different kind of products. Workers may not be trained, suppliers may not be adequate, and probably they might be the crux of the problem. For example, they might not be storing the raw material at the proper temperature, equipments or raw materials are not being handled properly. So yes, any of these 6 things might lead to a quality problem per se. So example of delayed flight departure, let's look at delayed flight departure. There might be many other reasons that comes around it, in terms of weathers, in terms of air traffic, in terms of equipment. The plane might be problematic. In terms of material, let's say when I talk of material, we're talking about luggage handling, we're talking about fueling, there might be food service delay, and there might be all delays out there. The personal might come delayed. There might be personal factors that comes around it. The pilot, the your crew members, if we are talking about it, the agents might be under trained, and so on and so forth. Similarly, of the procedures, people checking in, people going for a late passengers, gates been closed, still there are things which have been issued around here. Now, these all relates and come with a delayed flight departure. So we need to analyze them and probably eliminate one at a time, so that the quality, the delayed flight structures is been hampered or dealt with. So flowchart using the documents to detail steps in a process, I have already stated. So often the first step in the process of re-engineering, as the case might be. Example, process of departure gates. What happened? Let us understand. When the passenger arrives in the airport, probably purchase a ticket or has a ticket, first wait for the appropriate flight, and so on and so forth. If there are baggages you have to carry on, you check the baggages, issue the boarding passes, and goes for the boarding of the plane. This is the process that comes around here, and I've been trying to depict it through the help of a flow chart. Checklist, on the other hand, it says broken zippers, ripped material. You are just checking the number of defects that comes around it. It's a simple data check of sheets designed to identify type of quality problem at each workstation, per shifts, per machine, per operator, and that is what we are looking forward to. It in the checklist, if we have taken care of, we are ensuring that there might not be any discrepancies and things will work smoothly. Again, a representation would be a control chart. Look at the lower circuit limit or upper circuit limit and how the operation goes around it. So if it gets escalated, breaches any of the UCL or LCL, lower circuit limit or upper circuit limit, you will goes from one problem to another problem all the way. So that is what is the statistical process control is all about here. Scattered diagram is when we are plotting the events on an x-axis and y-axis, and you will suddenly see that in one of the sides there would be a lot of clustering done around here. That means either there is a delay out at that position, probably yes, or there needs to be manpower which has to be either updated or more manpower is required, or there's something wrong with the machine. The graphic shows how two variables are related to one another. The data can be used for a regression analysis to establish a equation of a relation that comes across it. That this is very important. And did I say Pareto's analysis? You look into it, we have this 80-20 rules. The 19th century Italian economist says the degree of importance of each element, 80% of the time of the problems can be a result of 20% of the causes. Look at A and B, they in together have the major issues compared to the next three other things. So if you can control only 20% of the causes, you will be eliminating to around 80% of the problem. So please focus on what you are looking at it, and that is what Pareto's analysis is all about it. Yes, did I say about histogram? Histogram is a chart that shows frequency distribution as has been observed over a period of time. And if you look maybe early morning or late evening, I'm just giving it, probably I'm sharing my thoughts, it might not be the actual representation. Early morning, late evening, the activities in the organization is on a lower end, but when it is come in the midday, it is at the optimum level, and the most of the activities are going on a full steam basis. So display like this distribution is symmetrical. Now the idea for us as an organization, can there be a parity? Can we take off some loads from the midday part and distribute it to the early morning or the late evening circle? So quality awards and standards. It's one of the best things that comes around is Malcolm Bridge National Quality Award. This is a benchmark altogether. We have also the Deming Prize. Now a worldwide organization of certification which stands as the ISO 9000 International Organization for Standards. If you are looking into it, ISO 14000 standards has also been espoused upon for having a quality conscious quality in 700 points. The Deming Prize, here given to a union of Japanese scientists, engineers since 1951, 1951, so it's approximately 71 years old. This particular prize is named after W. Edwards Demings, who works to improve Japanese quality after World War II. If we look forward to it, not open to foreign companies until 1984. This is the true fact that comes around here. Florida PLN was the first US company winner uh, as it has been. The ISO 9000 standards, if I may say so, it's the standards which is being certified, developed by International Organization for Standardization. It's been rampantly used, is widely circulated and accepted across the globe. Set internationally recognized quality standard as the case might be. Companies are periodically audited, periodically certified, as in with their process, with their outcomes, with their employees, how well they're aware of. ISO 9000 2000 quality management services are fundamentals and standard that we comes around it. ISO 9001 2000 QMS is the requirement that comes across. There are many certifications that I'm talking about it. There are guidelines for performances. Yes, nothing more than that. In fact, more than 40 odd thousand companies have already been surprised or already been certified, and so on and so forth. ISO 14000, on the other hand, is focusing on the environmental responsibilities, how socially aware you are, how ecologically balanced is your operation, and what we look into it. So let us come to the very last slide of the day. Why TQM efforts fail? It's lack of genuine quality cultures. Probably yes. Lack of top management support. In fact, beyond the top management support, it is not possible. The top management support is uh, binding force for the success of total quality management and commitment. So over and under reliance of statistical process control method, SPC, statistical process control method, as I have already said it too. Either you are over relying upon it or you are underutilizing it. So this needs to be taken the balance around it. With this verse, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.